Ruby Riot continues her feud with Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, and Full Sail says goodbye to the glorious one. Let's talk about this week's NXT. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your August 30th, I think, NXT review. Let's do what we always do, get the house cleaning up out of the way first. Up in the annotation, as always, go check out the last version of the Ask the Phoenix Q&A if you want to be involved in the next one, which is going to be at the tail end of September. Throw your questions into that. I know a couple people already have, and I thank you very much. Now, second thing in the annotation is obviously the playlist for these NXT previews, or sorry, NXT reviews. Below that is the playlist for the Mae Young Classic reviews. Now, you guys know, a while ago, they did a couple of preliminary matches. One of them was on YouTube, one of them was during an episode of NXT, and I sort of started the playlist then. I've actually started the proper playlist for the first round that is dropped into the on-demand, or it's dropped into the on-demand for my friends in America. In Canada, I have to wait till it actually comes on the network at 2 or 3 or ridiculous o'clock in the morning, tape it, and then watch it sometime later on. So that's what I'm doing. I've got one episode up there so far. Go check it out. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very, very, very similar to the Cruiserweight Classic in all the right ways. Serena Deeb made it through the first round, which is fucking awesome, so go check that out. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not really doing main roster stuff. I mean, I've started the pay-per-view Aftermath series. We're going to see how that goes. Obviously, Tackle is still a thing. I could say some stuff about my boy Jeff Hardy getting a shot at the Intercontinental Championship next week, but I'm pretty sure that's going to fall on its face. Let's get into this show tonight. The first and foremost thing, you knew Roderick Strong was going to get his last shot at Bobby Roode, because Bobby Roode is on SmackDown Live, so you kind of know how that's going to go, and you kind of know that NXT usually treats the last match scenario in the right way, but we start off on a much lower note. We see the parking lot area of Full Sail University, and first of all, you see Sanity outside of their car, sort of laying all, like, at a comedy angle, like they've had the crap kicked out of them, along with some security guards, and William Regal flipping his shit. People throughout the show are sort of suggesting that it's Fish and O'Reilly and Adam Cole baby, who I still don't know if I should give a shit about or not. But William Regal has to do the manager thing. You know, we're looking into this. It's a very serious offense. Rah. Drew McINTYRE comes out to a great ovation. I really feel good for Drew McINTYRE, and I've said this ad nauseum, but the fact that he didn't go nearly as far as he should have in his first run in WWE, and he himself acknowledges that, it's really, really good. He's the new NXT champion, if you haven't been paying attention. Comes out to great "You Deserve It" chants from the Full Sail crowd. Talks about wrestling being his life, 17-year journey. This title puts a target on my back, and I'm ready to take that on. He says, I'm putting everybody on notice, from Fish to O'Reilly to Cole to everybody else in the locker room. This is my world now, and all you got to do is ask if you want a title shot. Now, that's kind of counterculture to what he's been saying leading up to his title shot, which is, you know, this isn't my NXT, this isn't my world title, this is our NXT, you know, really roping the audience in. So the promo kind of skewed from that thought pattern, but it's still pretty good. I mean, he's out there, he's having a boast. It's his first week as champion. More power to him. He doesn't get answered by Fish or O'Reilly, or Cole for that matter. He gets answered by Roderick Strong. He says, first of all, I want to say congratulations. Second of all, I want to say I agree with you. That title does put a huge title on your back. I don't care about Fish or O'Reilly or Cole or any of the other guys in the back. All I care about is me, my family, and the NXT title. And after I beat Bobby Roode tonight, I want my title shot. And Drew kind of gets like this really, really crazed, really excited, like in a good way, looking at us. He's like, this is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted somebody like you to step up like a man. But are you ready to get knocked out like one? Great way to end the promo. Almost like a, I don't want to say a mic drop, because that sounds really, really cliche, but it was a mic drop moment with everything but the actual mic drop. I could really be lame and stick in a reference to this week's episode of Raw with the John Cena destroying Roman Reigns promo. I'm not going to, but I will tangent off to say that WWE has finally successfully gotten me fully in the John Cena camp in a feud. And I think doing it on a B pay-per-view is actually better. I know people are crying that this is not at Survivor Series, this is not at Rumble, this is not at Mania, they didn't do it back at SummerSlam, etc. On a B pay-per-view is better for it. And if you really, really want me to go into that, throw it down in the box below. Maybe I'll do a separate video, maybe not. We have an update on Asuka. They show a bunch of random flashes from her various social media accounts. And she'll be there to update everybody on her status next week. And unless you've been living under a rock, we all know what happens next week. I'm not going to say anything. I said it in my SummerSlam aftermath video, and I had some thoughts there. So if you want my thoughts on what's about to happen next week, go back a couple of videos. I know that sounds bizarre to say, doesn't it? I will say, spoiler, this might be the only thing that I give a shit about next week, because the way they lined up next week is not really encouraging me to watch it very much. I'm just putting that one out there. Ruby Riott versus Peyton Royce. They show Ruby Riott beating Billie Kay a couple weeks ago and them talking some shit, and Rod, them doing their whole Mean Girls thing, and it's great. It's Peyton Royce's turn, is all I can say. It's Ruby Riott doing the same thing that Ember Moon did. Is like, you don't feud with Peyton Royce, you don't feud with Billie Kay, you feud with the unit of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. I mean, this isn't necessarily new or different or, you know, incredibly groundbreaking of an idea. But I mean, you know, you fought Kay a couple weeks ago, you beat her. And gee, I wonder what's going to happen this week. Collar and elbow tie up, and Riott mauls Royce in the corner to start. Headlock, a snapmare, and a headlock again by Riott. Head scissor DDT by Royce, and dueling backslide attempts in the early going. Arm drag, drop kick by Riott into an armbar once again. Forearms by Royce, back into the armbar by Riott. Knee lift by Royce, forearms and kicks by Royce. Royce rides a headlock for a while because she's a heel, and you need to be reminded of that. They trade some forearms. There's a series of kicks and a drop kick by Riott. Reverse Rana into the second turnbuckle by Riott. I mean, it's becoming one of Ruby Riott's, I guess, 5 moves of doom, that reverse Rana into the second turnbuckle. I like it, and I think if you pay attention, Nigel McGuinness on commentary calls that maneuver something different just about every week. It's the poison kiss, it's the venomous sting, etc., etc., etc. Corner super kick by Riott, countered into a Death Valley driver by Peyton Royce, which is nothing to scoff at on its own. Forearm by Royce, and a crouching powerbomb by Riott. And that's the best thing. You guys know me, I don't come up with names for things very well. But it's not a regular powerbomb, and it's not a sit-out powerbomb like a Batista would do. It's actually a crouching powerbomb because she's falling with her opponent into a crouched position. I mean, there's nothing else I can really think of to call it, but it is the way she comes down, it punctuates it. It's got the same type of punch to it as when, really bizarre example, but somebody like Kevin Nash would do the jackknife, and it would come from a higher place, and it would be released from a higher place. This is a very, very similar punch to a standard powerbomb. Kay tries to pull Royce away. Kay tries to pull Royce out of the ring, but Ruby Riott, not to be denied, backs up off the ropes, suicide dive into a double lariat on Royce and Kay on the outside, but leaves her open to a big boot by Billie Kay on the outside, out of the view of the official. Bridging Fisherwoman suplex pin combination by Royce gets the bullshit win for Peyton Royce. I will say, although I am incredibly biased, and other than Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott is my number 2 in the NXT women's division right now. Sorry, Ember Moon, you are number 3, and Asuka's gone. Oops, spoiler. But Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are really coming into their own as the sort of just below the surface standard bearers in NXT, and by that I mean they are the ones that you put the girls you're trying to get over with. They are that Tyler Breeze, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn type person. Just really, really good at making other people look good. I hope it doesn't trap them like it has trapped some of the other people I just mentioned. Oh No versus Atami next week was announced, and this was announced in a backstage segment with Cassius Ohno and William Regal, and he asks for it to be a no disqualification match, and I should be excited about a no disqualification match. I really should, but God damn, I don't care about this feud. I don't care about Cassius Ohno. When he came back, I really tried to give a shit, and I just don't. Hideo Itami needs to feud with Johnny Gargano. If you want to solidify this guy as the brutal heel that I think they want him to be, you got to put him up against NXT's penultimate babyface in Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano needs to feud with him, needs to feud with Killian Dane, and needs to feud with Eric Young, among others. Cassius Ohno, if you want to go brawl with somebody, go brawl with Aleister Black, or, you know, go waste some time with No Way Jose or Andrade Cien Almas. Andrade Cien Almas, by that tick, I should mention, because it gets mentioned somewhere later on in the show. Andrade Cien Almas wants a rematch against Cesar Bononi for reasons, because he got a single bullshit win at TakeOver, and now he thinks he's something, and Zelina Vega wants to have a rematch with this guy, Cesar Bononi, who I care about even less than Almas. And that's an accomplishment in and of itself. That's also happening next week. Fuck me, I'm not gonna watch NXT next week, maybe. I don't know. I want to see the Asuka thing, but we all know what the Asuka thing is already. So, I don't know. Heavy Machinery took on some jobbers and squashed them, and I mean literally squashed them in their finishing move that's called the Compactor. Not only did the two of them hit the Compactor on one guy, they hit the Compactor on one guy onto his partner. So all four of them crushed down, and I think again it was Nigel McGuinness that mentioned, think about the amount of pressure that the guy on the bottom was feeling when that 3 count went down. And then friggin' what's his name? Otis Dozovic. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Somebody help me out in the box below. He pins both guys, and Nigel McGuinness is about to say, I don't know which guy's legal, and then he stops himself. He says, well, it doesn't matter because he's pinning both of them, which is great. We make me really happy. We replay Lars Sullivan destroying No Way Jose at the Barclays Center, which makes me really happy. But then William Regal announces that because of this, and because of the fact that he's beaten up 3 of his tag team partners in the past couple of weeks, he's going to have a 3-on-1 handicap match next week, which means we're giving him Ryback booking, which means he's going to be Gigantor against 3 midgets. Why are we beeping? Why is this a thing? So I'm just going to say this right now. I was going to save this to the end, but I'm going to save it now because then we can get on to some good stuff. We've got some Ryback bullshit booking. We've got Andrade Cien Almas, which versus somebody I care even less about, which, as I said, on its own is an accomplishment. And we've got Ohno versus Itami again, because they're trying to make me care. The only thing I'm looking forward to seeing next week is not a match, is not a happy or a good thing, and I already know what it is. So NXT, as good as this week's episode is, and it is, and we're going to get into this match in a second, because it's a cool moment for Bobby Roode, for NXT, for the Full Sail crowd, etc. You are not setting up a great episode for me to watch next week. You're really, really not. And not to be an asshole, I might do a quick vid about the Asuka thing and forget about reviewing next week's NXT. That could be a thing that could happen. Roderick Strong versus Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode's swan song match in NXT. I've got one small problem with this match, and I'm going to talk about it at the end, but other than that, this is pretty great. Like I say, Roderick Strong is somebody that again, not to the level of a Cassius Ohno, is somebody that I wanted to really like. They haven't quite got me there yet as far as caring about him as a character, but I know when I see him in the ring, it's going to be solid, and I'm a mark for Bobby Roode, if you guys can't tell. Thank you, Bobby Chance, from the Full Sail crowd, before the match even starts. And I love this. I love the smart mark attitude of the Full Sail crowd. They know that Bobby Roode is the heel. They know that Roderick Strong is the face. But they also know that this is Bobby Roode's last match, and they can pretty sure predict that at the end of this match, Bobby Roode's going to do the right thing, do the favor, as they say. So Bobby Roode is over as fuck, even though he's fully acknowledged as the heel. I like that. I would love to have an excuse to go to Florida so I could go down and just see some NXT tapings at the NXT arena there in Full Sail. I think it would be a really cool experience. NXT is having a house show here in Toronto at the Mattamy Centre on the 9th. I will be going. I will have some videos and photos and whatnot. I'm not going to be reviewing the show, though, so I'm just going to put that out to you guys right now. Let's get to the match. Roderick Strong and Bobby Roode. One more time. finish out the feud, finish out Bobby Roode's time in NXT, and it starts with a shove by Strong after a lot of shit talk by Bobby Roode, and he hits him with it after the shove, which is just a shove. He hits him with a proper takedown, corner spears by Roode and some corner chops, a headlock takedown by Roode and a shoulder tackle, mounted punches by Strong and a back elbow by Roode, backbreaker by Strong, and this is where Nigel McGuinness starts hitting things on the head a little too much. He overuses that. I get that Roderick Strong's gimmick is the backbreakers, and he's doing the backbreakers out of nowhere, like the RKO, etc. But if he says Messiah of the backbreaker one more time, I'm probably going to turn my television off, and that's a bad thing. Backbreaker by Strong, and then he hits another one off the ropes, which is admittedly very, very cool. They trade punches on the apron. Strong eats the ring post hard. Strong eats the steps on the outside, and a boot and a spine buster, and then a mud hole stomp by Roode, followed by some chokes on the ropes. Backbreaker by Roode, you know, doing that whole anything you can do, I can do better type thing, a running boot, corner chops by Strong and a hard Irish whip, knees to the spine by Roode and a surfboard stretch, atomic drop by Roode and a gutbuster by Storm, running clothesline by Storm and some corner chops. So both of these guys, you figure by this point, at the end of this match, neither one of these guys is going to have a spine. Between the atomic drops and the boots to the back and the surfboard stretch and all the backbreakers and the spine buster that Bobby Roode does, that is the only other person I can think of that does a spine buster even remotely like Bobby Roode's is Triple H, and that you can't touch it. It's very close. It's not Triple H, but it's so close to being Triple H, it's scary. I want Bobby Roode and Triple H to have a match at some point, but that's another thing for another day. Double underhook powerbomb into a Boston Crab combination by Strong. Fireman carry stunner by Roode, which is not something I've seen from him before. Back elbows by Strong. Spinebuster by Roode. Angle slam by Strong. How's that for a surprise? Running knee and a facebuster. Hangman by Roode. Enzuigiri by Strong. Top rope suplex by Strong. They trade some punches on their knees and they punch themselves both back up into a standing position, which is great. Glorious DDT by Bobby Roode, and this is where the babyface has his big hope moment. Glorious DDT, and he kicks out. Slaps Roode, followed by 3 ridiculous high knee strikes to the face. Float over backstabber. I don't know what his finishing move is actually called, but it is a float over into a backstabber, so that's what I'm going to call it. He hits it twice for the win, and here's the only thing I don't like. Normally when it's somebody's last match and they know it's somebody's last match, even if they're the heel, they let them have their final moment to bask in the sun, so to speak. Sasha Banks had it in her last match with Bayley, is the best example I can think of off the top of my head. They didn't have this because immediately you had Roderick Strong, you know, looking all dazed and victorious in the corner, etc. And then you hear Drew McINTYRE'S music and you're thinking, okay, so is Drew McINTYRE going to turn heel in one night? He's not. He's standing there looking confident as fuck, waving his belt on the stage. The two guys are standing over, or they're staring at each other from the ring to the stage and back again. And you figure, okay, we're just going to end this on a stare down knowing that this is our title feud going forward. But no, Drew's posing on the stage. He gets jumped by the 3 ROH guys, gets hit with a wicked DDT on the stage. And then William Regal, of all people, chases the ROH guys out of the NXT arena, and that's how the show ends. I'm really hoping that Bobby Roode got to have a little bit of a curtain call at Full Sail after this went off the air. Because if not, that leaves a little something to be desired. Great match. You know, Bobby Roode doing the wrestler's thing, putting the new guy, or putting the guy that's staying over on his way out. Cool, respect it, 100%. The crowd at Full Sail, they get it. They were giving Bobby Roode the respect throughout the whole goddamn match. I mean, Roderick Strong got applauded for his win, don't get me wrong. The crowd likes Roderick Strong. But Bobby Roode got the reaction that he should have gotten from a crowd that knows the deal. But he didn't get that last hurrah, that last bow, that last, as I said, curtain call. And I would have liked to seen that. And yes, I'm biased because I'm a huge fan of Bobby Roode. But no, we have to move forward. We have to move forward to Drew McINTYRE, Roderick Strong, and I guess Adam Cole, baby. So we'll see where that goes. We'll see where an episode of NXT next week that I'm already very not excited to see. We'll see where that goes as well. If nothing else, we're going to get that announcement from Asuka. Gee, I wonder what the announcement could be. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys. Don't
freak like me.